When I think of Winnifred, I think of a powerful woman, a woman who didn't take no for an answer, a woman who was going to do whatever she needed to have her son have a place in this world.
She was on a mission, and nothing was going to stop her.
But it's amazing that this can come from a woman from Edmonton who just wanted to help her kid. I think Winnifred Stewart's lesson is, if people tell you no about your child, you don't always have to accept the establishment answer of no. And sometimes when you're Winnifred Stewart, you're going to change the world.
Joey shows that there's no reason for people with developmental disabilities to not be included in communities.
Joey was born in 1963. He was a 12th child, and so it would have been overwhelming for my mom to to take care of all the kids, as well as to be concerned about Joey and his future. Without the Winnifred Stewart Association, Joey would not have had the education he had, so he had 12 years of education there, which he loved to go every day to participate in.
What school did you go to, Joey?
Winnifred Stewart.
Winnifred Stewart.
Stewart, yeah.
Good.
Winnifred was born in 1908 in Fernie, BC, and she moved to Edmonton. She married her husband, Duncan, and she moved here. She was a registered nurse, and she worked as a nurse for several years until her son, Parker, was born in 1934. He was born with what we call Down syndrome. We call that now. Back then, they called it mongoloid or retarded. In 1934 and even into the 50s, if your child was born with Down syndrome, they said it's an idiot, they'll never learn anything, it's best to institutionalize it, and even some cases in the United States, they were also advocating allowing the child to die. At the time Parker was alive and into the 50s and the 60s, he would have been sterilized because the government did not want these children to pass on their genes to future generations.
If I was in Winnifred's position, being told that your child had to be institutionalized, I wouldn't let it happen as a parent. And I think that's why, one of the reasons why she fought so hard.
When I worked in an institution, it was a better environment than most, and that's because of the people that I worked with and who we were and where we were at that point in time. But we would get children come in to the institution I worked in that came from facilities that didn't have that. I remember working with two young boys, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and the first probably week or two that they were there, I couldn't approach them. Because there was fear of adults.
And this was what Winnifred Stewart and a lot of parents at the time were pushing against, saying, no, I see my child looks at me and smiles like any other infant. And so they're trying to push against this establishment, saying these kids are nothing. But the parents are going, these kids are something. And Winnifred wanted Parker to go to school. When she went to the school board and said, I want to enroll my son in the school, they immediately said, no. We can't teach this boy, and we don't have these children in our school, so you can't do this. We will not let him come to school.
Back in the day, people kind of thought that educating children with developmental disabilities was kind of like a leaky bucket. Knowledge would go in and pour right out the bottom. It wasn't until Winnifred had Parker, and she was able to see that it's not a leaky bucket. I can teach Parker things and he will learn them. It might take a little bit more time, but there's different techniques and different strategies that I can use to teach him.
I knew that learning is memory, and Parker always seemed to have a wonderful memory, and it was just a pleasure. I used to work with him for 4 to 5 hours every day, and I found out that he just progressed and came along like a little house on fire.
She was ridiculed, I'd have to say, by a lot of people at the time who felt that these children were really not teachable.
After Parker was 19 or 20, Winnifred Stewart was at City Hall to meet someone, and she saw two parents rush out crying, and she asked the secretary what's going on. She says, oh, they have a retarded child. There's nothing we can do. And Winnifred Stewart said, there's something I can do. And then they formed a group that all met together and say, we want to start a school for our children.
And so little by little, through osmosis, she began to get people coming to her with other challenged children saying, please, please, could you help my child, and could you help my child?
She was bound and determined to get funding for her child as well as other children with a developmental disability.
In 1954, Winnifred Mary Stewart addressed the Alberta legislature, and by the end of it, it resulted in an amended bill to the Education Act.
And Alberta was the first province to have legislation that gave money for children of Down syndrome or developmental delays, things like that. So she pushed to lead Alberta into the future. So it's kind of interesting, it went from Alberta was negative in the 30s and 40s to actually going, okay, let's help these children.
Who is that? Who's in this picture here? This one.
Wayne.
Wayne who?
Wayne Guthrie.
Wayne Gretzky's connection to the association and children with Down syndrome comes from Joey Moss. When Wayne was first in Edmonton, he dated Joey Moss's sister, and they were friends. And he brought in Joey Moss for the Edmonton Oilers.
He's a celebrity who doesn't know he's a celebrity.
What's your favorite part of your job? What do you like most?
Okay, just when you speak. Deep.
Your favorite job, part of the job I think might be your rest time, when you get to have a little break and have a nap between the practice and the game day.
Yeah, and everything.
Because you know why?
What?
Because you snore. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
You snore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Madeline Royer, and this is my brother, Clarence Roberts. As a family, we were far too protective of Clarence because he was challenged, so he never would have learned or accomplished what he's done had it not been for the Winnifred Stewart. They taught him things like being able to take the Edmonton transit system on his own. He was able to go to work. He was able to do so many things that would never have happened in our little protective circle.
They didn't teach the children based on chronological age. You're 6, you must learn this when you're 6. They taught them based on mental age. Because some kids may have been like 10, but the mentality was like at 5.
I started here November 1st, 1976, and we had probably close to 400 students at that time, 3 to 4 years of age up to young adults.
Yeah, Winnifred's school curriculum and her plans for the school spread across the country from Edmonton to Montreal, Grand Prairie to Moscow, everywhere.
Once children were integrated back into the school system, 1982, and the vote showed that the association should form to serve adults with developmental disabilities, that's kind of when things took off in a different direction.
Okay. You want to take this right there all the time?
We offer services and supports to over 200 individuals.
We support them through day services, day programs, residential services. We support them throughout volunteer opportunities, work opportunities. Basically, we support our clients in whatever they need. We have individuals who have been in our service since they were going to school at Winnifred Stewart School. We've grown up with them. We've celebrated their 18th birthday with them. We've supported them when they go out to work. We've supported these clients when they've been at home with us. And now we're starting to see we need to support them as they age. One of the things that we're starting to see now is people with developmental disabilities start to suffer from Alzheimer's or other dementias much, much earlier than the general population does.
With his Alzheimer's now, he has moved into one of their facilities that has more 24-hour care, and that's where we are today. We feel really blessed that we have grown with Clarence, and it's part of life, and as I say, we feel blessed.
I think the lesson of Winnifred's life and the larger truth is never give up.
She knew her own child, and she knew what her child could do. And she just worked as hard as she can to help her child. And in the end, helped other children across the world.
What's all those?
Half Oilers, half Eskimos. Yeah. She brought together almost like a miracle for the city, for a place for these kids to go, to get educated, to have social development.
I think for me, being a part of Winnifred Stewart, one of the coolest things to be a part of is the Winnifred Stewart legacy. To me, that legacy is not just what Winnifred did in 1953, and it's not what we did in 1982. It's what we're doing now. And that's supporting our clients and our individuals in whatever way that might be.
I think seeing the children progress, that of course is the main thing. That to me was the greatest thrill. And of course being able to get the facilities for them and anything pertaining to them, because they were first and foremost. And anything else that's happened, why, it evolved through them. And that to me was the greatest satisfaction of all, to see a child talk for the first time and really walk for the first time and do that sort of thing. That to me was the greatest.